Hi guys, thought I'd better check in with you and tell you what's been going down in the wild world of Hollywood. So the last time we chatted was 2 weeks ago. I was wrapping up shop for the last round of the GXCCs. The Zork Fleet event was absolutely banging. Since then I went straight across to Broncos to wrap up the last round of the National Motocross Championship. That was a wild one as well. Incredible history being set there as well. Been a long time since we talked about guys going two-time champions. Kieran Fitzgerald used to do it, Richie van der Westhuizen used to do it, but since those guys, kind of like Richie retiring and Kieran just not finding the form that he used to, and the kids getting real strong, it's been a bit of a flip out. Last year it was David Goosen and his teammate Tristan Purden that walked away with the MX1 and MX2 titles respectively, and then this year it's been all about Caleb Tennant. He's been smashing it in every single gate. Last part of the season, Goose and Purden have been coming on strong. In fact, Purden walked away with the MX1 and MX2 overall at the final round, but it was a little bit too little too late. Goose also having some major knee problems, literally unable to stand up on the pegs at the final round of the championship race series at Broncos, a track where he runs super good as well. And it was Caleb Tennant that did enough on the day and in the championship to walk away as doubles. So that's MX1 and MX2. He is your champion in both of the categories. So that's huge. Husky have been looking for a ton of championships this year. They missed out on quite a few on the off-road and the enduros, but in motocross they walk away with the doubles. So that's going to keep them very happy, keep Fred happy, and Husky happy at the big factories as well. I said on the last video I was going to give the juniors a high five, and I'm going to do that right now. 2018 has been absolutely huge. When you talk about the development of the junior category of riders, it's a long time ago that we talked about riders like, you know, Wade, Travis, and then it was Matty Green and Stefan van Deventer. I watched those kids coming up from 65s to 85s and now all the way through into racing in the pro categories. The junior development program in this country has really kicked off. T-Bone have done a lot of work over the last couple of seasons. I've worked with them at the beginning of their careers and watched a lot of those kids develop through out of the 50s, 60s, 65s, 85s, and then start moving up into the senior categories in the 125s. And for the juniors in 2018, I believe we've seen the biggest development, the biggest stretch, and the biggest pace improvements as well. The T-Bone guys have been focusing in on the enduro and enduro cross side of things, mainly the tough enduros, and they're extremely tough, believe me. I've been out there, I've walked a couple of the sections that the kids have to do on very, very small wheels. We're talking about like the first kids to swing a leg. 50cc's, 65s, small wheel 85s, and big wheel 85s. It's extremely tough, extremely challenging, and really gives the kids a feel and a foothold as to like where their careers are going to be going. You've got to break out of the T-Bones and then go into basically the rest of the tours, EWXCs, a couple of the MPs, things like that. But what the old school used to do was go off-road and then try and pick things up. The old junior tour, you saw all those classy riders that have come out of it. Burberry, Flanny, Wade Young, TT, Goodsight, they all came out of that junior gate, and it's been a long time since we've seen new blood. So I'm talking about the future now. I'm saying 2-3 years time, you're going to see the pro gates in the E1s and E2s at national enduro level, as well as the off-roads. But I think the junior development at the moment does kind of key its way a little bit more into the enduro side of things. And then on the cross-country front, it's the GXCs that are really getting the kids ready to go up into full national championship. The GXCCs has seen some of the biggest junior gates on the season so far, and some new shining stars coming good. And now, I love this part of the season where you start talking to the kids and say, all right, who's moving up out of 85s? Who's going full 125s next year? And a little bit further back, who's jumping out of 50s into 65s? And so on and so forth. Junior development is really on the up at the end of 2018, going forward into 2019. When you go through some of the names as well, the shining stars coming out of the 50cc gate, Mackenzie Bam, she's been podiuming the whole way through, and it does look like she's moving up into the 65s. In fact, she swung a leg on the 65s at the end of the season and starting to really come good with the 65cc machine. So she's going to be jumping out of the 50s. I think Clarkey may be hanging in there for a 50cc as well, so looking to defend his title as well. Clarkey was the winningest rider on the 50cc gate on the off-roads and a lot of the enduros going through 2018. The 65cc's were very much dominated the whole way through the season by one rider, and that was Johnny Luck. He ran out of luck though at the very end of the season, but looks like he did enough to hang on to his regional championship. So Johnny Luck on the 65s will remain 65s, I think, going forward into 2019. On the GXCC side of things, in the 85cc juniors, it's been the Johnson show. The kid has really been flying, and one of the guys that's probably going to take Kawasaki's probably one and only title in off-road or enduro for 2018. And I got to say, the family Johnson are super strong. 3 boys, 1 girl, and probably give it, I don't know, maybe 2-3 years, and I think we'll be able to see them take maybe 4 number 1 plates. They're very, very strong. They're very, very supportive of the GXCCs as well as the Farm Jam events. And I really think they are the future of off-road, because they really do focus in on the high-speed stuff rather than staying away from the enduros. In the 85 seniors, it's been tough to talk about anyone else except Matty Wilson. He has been dominant, literally the only rider in category across off-road, enduro and extreme enduro in South Africa to get a clean slate. In other words, every event he entered, every event he won. So he has been absolutely ripping it up. It's been good to see Branson when he's been fit, and I do have to explain that. He's had a lot of injuries and he's gone under the knife, I think, twice this season. So Branson, when he's in it and can put a whole championship together, can push him very close. When he's riding, he's on his wheel. So Branson, if he has a clean season, is a big threat for 2019. But watch out for Too Tall. Demal Du Plessis coming on strong, starting to really find his form, has been focusing the early part of his championship and his career. It's been all about enduro. Now Too Tall is getting real fast, but it does look like he's moving up into the 125s for 2019. So now we start blurring the line. When do you stop being a junior? Well, realistically, you stop being a junior in off-road terms when you're old enough to swing a leg up onto the 125s. So you start seeing riders breaking out. Last year, it was the unstoppable 85 champion across the board, Heinrich Aust. So he decided to make the big move up at the end of last season into the 125 category. So this year, he's been kind of finding his feet. Difficult first year in the 125s, and that's what we'll really keep an eye on. The kids that have to break out of junior racing, where they're running, at the GXCCs at least, they're running a short track. The biggest track that they race on the junior loop is a 20-kilometer loop. Then you break out into the 125s, you've got to go up and really start finding much more fitness, because the track becomes almost a 50-kilometer loop, and you're going to be out there not for 2 hours, but for 3 hours. So when you talk about the leap up, it's not just a leap up onto a bigger bike and a harder gate and really closer racing, but it's endurance racing. You've been out on an 85, slightly easier bike to ride, and it's been your buddy for the last couple of seasons on a 2-hour program. Now you've got to step up into a 3-hour program, bigger horsepower, bigger dudes. It's a very, very tough development. Some kids get it right. Some kids take 2, maybe 3 years to come right, but we will watch out for development from the 85 seniors out into the 125s. I know Wilson is flirting with it, and we'll have to see who else comes along for the ride. But the juniors have been huge and banging in 2018, and I'm really excited to see who makes the big moves up and who are the key players at the beginning of 2019. So as I said before, I've been kind of off the gate a little bit, because since the last GXCC I went straight across to Broncos for the last round of the motocross, and then this weekend was the final round of the National Rally Championship. So a bit of sideways car action. Yeah, don't feel too bad about me. You know, I do like to hang out with the bike guys. The car guys can be very cool at the same time as well, and I wish everyone would get on, and I think it's like good bits of crossover. You know, I remember our good buddy for quad racing, Brian Baragwanath, he's become a key player in off-road car racing. So you can always develop through bikes into quads, into cars. There's a big crossover there. So I do enjoy working with all of the tours. With that in mind, this weekend coming up is my final big tour of the season, and that is the end of the National Off-Road Cars. So all the trucks and buckies, all the Dakar vehicles, and the last time that we'll see them before everyone starts getting themselves ready for Dakar truly. After that, we start getting a little bit thin on the ground as far as what events are remaining on the tour for 2018. Of course, this weekend, we're all going to be breaking out our tuxedos and our nice dresses as well. Moms and dads will have the hats on. Everyone will be looking factory fresh, because it is GXCC end of year prize giving. So that's always cool to look forward to. I do like to see all the little kids out in their tiny tuxedos. And of course, everyone away from the track don't know if I'll recognize everyone as well. You know, you don't see them with their kit or their helmets on or their lead braces and protective gear and all their pits. It's just mom, dad, the kids, the girlfriends, the boyfriends, the wives, and everyone looking fresh. So I'm very, very looking forward to that, and it's a great way to end off the season in a very cool way. That's going to be up at the Brooklyn Theatre, and that is where we had our very first GXCC prize giving 3 years back. Remember, this is the 3rd year that we've been full-time GXCC racing. After that, the rest of the tours that remain are the Africa Off-Road Championships. Remember, they raced 12 rounds, 12 months of racing, so they've still got 2 race events left. And of course, we build up to Roof. So what I'll be doing now is going to be rolling off a little bit, and then I'll start building up as we get closer to the Roof of Africa. We'll find out closer to the time if any international riders are going to be coming, and if there are, then we'll be able to name and tag them. A couple of the guys aren't going to be making it though. We know because of the date clash that it does clash with the opening round of the World Super Enduro Championship. So a couple of key players have already made it known that they're not going to be coming across, but we'll stay away from that for now, and we'll build up to the Roof in our next couple of videos. For now, I'll sign off with that one and try and catch my breath as I go forward and get ready for my next event coming up this weekend. Guys, get those tuxedos and dresses out. We'll see you on the weekend.